Hey guys, what's up? Alec back with another stock market investing video. Today we have a really juicy video. I hope you guys watch the entire thing. It's going to be packed with loads of valuable information, so you're definitely going to want to watch every single slide. We're going to make it like 50 amazing points, and it's going to be all about the stock market crash. Is the stock market crashing? What should we do if it crashes? What stocks am I going to be buying specifically? What price targets on stocks are we buying? Why is the stock market crashing? And is it going to continue to keep crashing too? So let's go over that real quick. You'll see I'm only up 15% in the last month. At one point, a couple of days ago, I was up 25% this month. And then we had a huge hit, which was today. So let's kind of go into some of the first reasons on why the stock market is falling right now. All right, so here you'll see my notes. Stock market crash. Why is the market crashing right now? So the first thing we have is going to be his worst day in stock market history in 4 months. The Dow Jones fell nearly 800 points today, which is absolutely record-breaking, and it's the biggest fall that it's had in 4 months. So a lot of people are saying that it's going to be continuing as well. Corona is at an all-time high. So if you actually look right here as well, I'll keep having stuff pop up on the screen that you guys can refer to as well. But Corona is at an all-time high. The cases are at 85,000 daily cases, guys. I think the previous it's ever been before that was like 60 or 70. So we're blowing the all-time highs out of the water. So it's absolutely the worst it's ever been. It's never been worse than this. And we're not controlling it. It's actually just going to be getting worse too. So it's not like this is at a peak and it's going to start getting better. We're really not controlling it. And on top of that, the weather is starting to get colder too. So it's also been said when the weather starts to get colder, the Rona starts to get bad, it starts to get worse. And cases are continuing to trend up. We're at just at 75,000 and now we're at 85,000 daily cases. On top of that, we have the European Rona numbers are looking bad also. 1.3 million in just the past week. And you'll actually see Europe is actually putting in guidelines and shutdowns right now all over Europe. So Europe's always a little bit ahead, more ahead than we are. So next thing you know, we can actually see the United States and maybe some bigger cities like New York and San Francisco starting to shut down too. Now, on the flip side, this is going to be why it's a little bit better than the last, huge breakout that we had, is because the percent of people dying from Rona is actually getting better, which is an amazing thing. The death rate, the death mortality is not as bad as we thought it was as well. Government and economy is waiting on vaccines, so the vaccine should be here in a couple months. And to go back to our first point, when Rona first came out, we thought initially that it was about a 5 to 7% death rate, if you guys remember that. When we first started hearing about Rona in like March and February, we heard that there was like a 5% death rate or something crazy on it. And I think it's like, in reality, it's like a 0.3% or something like that. But you'll actually see that people have been talking about a stock crash for a few months, and it's never happened, even though now is definitely a lot more likely than a month ago or 2 months ago than the stock market crash to happen. The first stimulus, it pumped $2 trillion, guys, into the economy, which is not a number to be shy about. That's a phenomenal number. $2 trillion, that's unbelievable, into the economy. And the good thing is the second will do the same. But the thing is, which we'll get into a little bit later in the video, the stimulus has got pushed, and there's a very good chance, it's actually probably a 90% chance that we will not see the stimulus before the election, which is horrible for the economy and the stock market. But when we do see that, stimulus come through, it'll definitely rebound the stocks. So now is the time you're going to want to be buying slowly at a time, which we'll be getting into later on in the video too. So here you'll actually see the economy's already bottomed. In March, we hit bottoms. When the economy shut down and earnings were reported, earnings already bottomed. Unemployment already bottomed. I think it was at 20% or 15% at one point. And I think now it's at 10%. It's definitely getting better. So unemployment definitely already bottomed. Earnings bottomed. Some companies, some of the huge companies were reporting negative earnings or no earnings. They had to shut down all their stores, which is a huge thing for a lot of companies that actually have zero income. So here's some good things to keep in mind. Also, the stock market can get very emotional. So when we hear about the stimulus not passing or the Rona happening and a lot of fears in the air, a lot of people are going to be scared to be going out again because the numbers just start increasing and increasing and increasing. It's very emotional. People are going to start getting scared and pulling out of the market too. So another shutdown would absolutely obliterate us. I really hope that we don't see another shutdown. If you want to see a stock market crash to get some good prices, you're going to be wanting a shutdown to happen. So that way you can actually go ahead and get some prices, some good prices. Another thing to note is nobody wants to be cash heavy right now, especially hedge funds and corporate funds and wealthy individuals all want to be in the stock market, which drives the market up. And you have to think that that's mainly who controls the market. It's like 70% of the market is dependent on these hedge funds, corporate funds, and wealthy individuals who don't want just cash in their bank. They want to be in the market right now, and that drives the market up. In my opinion, if Biden wins and shuts down the economy again, then we'll for sure see another crash with numbers that are rivaling the last crash as well. If places are actually getting shut down, we're starting to see restaurants are not allowed to have anybody in again because remember at one point, restaurants weren't allowed to have anybody inside. And if we get back to where that's at, that's going to be very bad. He doesn't even have to shut the economy down, honestly. Even if there's just talk about him shutting down the economy or raising the richest taxes, that's going to be bad because it goes back to the stock market being emotional. And people are going to start pulling their money out of the stock market, those wealthy individuals, hedge funds, and corporate funds. What we don't want to see is city and state restrictions because that will start leading to a shutdown if we start seeing like New York having restrictions, San Francisco having restrictions. This is going to be early signs of a complete shutdown as well. So if we go to our next slide here, what you'll see is Rona has sped up a lot of new business models that were made for Rona, especially the remote working is acceptable and a lot of stuff is online and video and delivery based. So for example, look at Peloton and look at Zoom. These are companies that absolutely have been booming with the whole Rona thing going on. People can now go to court online. They don't have to drive and spend 3 hours at the courthouse. They just hop on a Zoom call. Same thing with work and school. Zoom is a huge one that you might want to be taking advantage of in the second stock market crash, which we will be saving for another video as well. So in my opinion, a lot of these stocks, these big tech stocks that we've seen run up and have crazy like 300% gains or 200% gains or even 100% gains in the last few months, I can see those being hit the hardest. And hype stocks are not safe right now, in my opinion, either. You want to stay away from hype stocks. In my opinion, we can see 20 to 30% fall on those crazy stocks that absolutely have ran up. And there's a lot of stock on the flip side. There's a lot of stocks that are going to be making a lot of money. That are any of the stocks that are benefiting off Rona, like Zoom, Peloton, can continue to make money, especially with the holidays coming up. And even like the vaccine stocks can make money as well. Solar companies can make money, EVs. And don't be a trend follower. Don't be a blind investor. Make sure you're always doing your own due diligence and research because you never want to just buy off what someone's saying. Even me, when I tell you guys a price alert or anything, double check it all the time. I'm here to provide you with the best information, but nobody knows everything all the time. So it's always good to do your own due diligence. And if you're younger and you have cash on the sidelines, you basically want the market to be going down 20% because then you can buy in heavy and hold for long term and see crazy gains over the next 2 to 5 years. And when I say young, pretty much if you're 35 or younger, that's going to be very beneficial. I mean, if you're 18 or 20 and you can buy some of these amazing stocks at half off, like some of these big tech stocks that we'll get into later in the video, That's going to be huge for your investing career 2 years, 5 years, even 10 years down the road. So our next slide we have here, it's going to say elections is less than 2 weeks away now, November 3rd. And we probably won't know the winner for a while because of the mail-in voters, keep in mind. So it's not like November 3rd, we're going to know who the president is like it has been every other year. Usually on the election date, we know who the president is. So it's going to be different this year. It can be weeks, if not even a whole month, before we actually even know who won the election. Now, stimulus before elections getting pushed, which is a huge amount of money that we need. And we honestly need a date. I know they're going to vacation too right now before the election. So it's going to be at least 2 weeks, if not longer. It can be months before we see another stimulus come in. People have done a really good job at predicting the stock market around election time. Obviously, it's not 100% guaranteed, but I'm going to link some slides on here. Typically, the market going into the stock market, going into the election, is okay, and it's doing really good into the election. And then every year, based off history, typically it goes down after the election for at least a couple days or even a couple weeks in some cases. After the election, it's always known to go down for a couple days or a couple weeks after the election. So keep that in mind, historically speaking. Now, obviously, this year has not been historical at all. It's been anything but following the books. But just looking back on previous election years, that's typically what the market does. Now, a few things are certain here. Over the next 2 months, this is what we know, and this is important. Rona will keep increasing. 8,500 cases a day is not the top. It's going to keep increasing for probably a few weeks, if not a few months. There's likely going to be no stimulus for a few months as well. There's probably going to be no stimulus maybe even until January or February of 2021. So bear that in mind as well. We have the election drama going on over the next 2 months, which, is typically the market goes down after the president is voted in or after election. And then there's going to be no vaccine for a minimum of 3 to 4 months too. So over the next 2 months, there's four huge catalysts that I can see bringing the stock market down and causing another stock market crash for us to buy in at. So that leads to the question, am I selling? Right? And I'll tell you, I'm not selling. When you try and sell and buy back, it's basically like trying to time the market, and you can lose a lot more money that way rather than if you just hold, you buy in at a low price and you just hold for a long time instead of trying to time the market and sell your shares and then try to buy back, and then it never gets down to the price that you wanted it to go down to, and you say, oh man, well maybe I'll just never buy, and then you just never end up buying and never getting back in as well. I'm prepared to put around $5,000 or more. I've been holding some cash right now, waiting for opportunities to arise. If you're on my close friends list, I post all the time telling people to make sure they're cash heavy, because there probably is going to be a big dip in the market. We've seen a huge run up over the last few weeks and the last few months. We saw some crazy gains as well too. And I'll definitely keep you guys updated as we go and let you know what I'm going to be buying and what I'm going to be selling. Now, I want to go over a few stocks also that I'm going to be watching during the crash and some price targets I have and where I'm going to be buying in at. Facebook is the number one I want to buy more of, and anything under 200 to even 220, I'll love to buy in at 200, but I'm really putting my price target at $200 on Facebook. I love to buy, maybe like $500 to $1,000 of Facebook at $200 per share. The next one's going to be Apple, and I'll put a price target. I want to buy in at $90 a share. I'll actually like to buy in at $80, honestly, but $90, I'll probably put $500 to $1,000 into Apple. if it goes down to $90 a share. So put a price alert on Apple. I would say $90 a share for Apple would be awesome. So that brings us to Tesla, and I'm gonna be putting a price target of about 280 on Tesla, 250 to 280. I'd buy in at, probably put $500 to $1,000 in a Tesla at 250 to 280. If it gets that low, I'll love it. If it gets that low, I'll probably even buy a little bit more. So put your price target at about 250 to 280 on Tesla, and wait on it over the next 1 month to 2 months on all these price targets. So Amazon, I'm going to actually be putting a price target of $2,800 to $2,700 on Amazon. They're one that might not get hit that hard though, because they have the whole, Rona benefit with their business model. It's all delivery straight to your door going on. But I would say 28, 2,900, somewhere in that range is going to be a good buy for Amazon. I'm putting my target right around 28 to 2,900, and I would like to buy about $500 or $700 of Amazon too. And then we have Google, and we're going to be putting a price target around $1,200 to $1,300 on Google. This is one that I think is going to be good over a 5-year growth. Just like all these ones on the list, these are some of the best stocks in the stock market to own. So I would love some great opportunity to actually get into these nice, awesome, amazing stocks at a wonderful price and hold these amazing stocks for a long term, for 2 years, 5 years, even 10 years down the road, especially if you can get into these stocks at the price points I'm telling you guys about. Don't sell, just hold them for a long, long time. So I really do hope you guys enjoyed that video. I laid out everything with the stock market going on, the stock market crash coming up. Drop a thumbs up if you did enjoy the video. Leave a comment. Make sure you share this one with your friends, because everyone is definitely going to want to see this video. This is probably one of my best videos with the information that is packed in every single minute of the video. It's very valuable and value packed. And then we even went over the stock market, the exact prices to get into some of these individual stocks, and price alerts on these stocks too. So smack a thumbs up. It only takes 1 second out of your day to hit the like button. Go to YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you're not going to be missing these videos. And if you need help getting your stock market account looking a little bit more like mine, 15% a month, go ahead and reach out to me. I'm going to be taking a few more people to help them through this whole Rona situation, so you guys are in good hands and you're not figuring it out for yourself. All right, guys, until next time, remember, don't time the market, buy the market. Peace.